Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be taking a look, kind of a follow-up look at my Autel EVO. Now I got the EVO just about a year ago. I think it was, maybe, a week or two from now it'd be a year. And I did a full review back then, so please sure to check that out, where I did a pretty comprehensive review. It's rather long. I went over everything except for waypoints and orbit mode. But they've done a ton of firmware upgrades since then. Now this is not going to be any kind of comprehensive one-year follow-up. There's tons of Autel EVO videos out there, but I wanted to take it up today. Basically I wanted to do a comparison between my second video, which was my return to home accuracy test. Compare that between then and now, because there's a few things that I've learned and a few things that, some firmware upgrades that have improved on the Precision return to home accuracy, which is turned on right now. That uses the downward facing camera to help identify the ground along with GPS to actually find the exact spot you took off. So they've done some improvements along with some things I've learned about kind of hovering for a moment, things Autel's really not very specific on that I've learned about what you need to do to improve that. I want to see, does it make a difference? I've had wildly different results on my return to home. If you saw my original one, it came down a few feet off this helipad, the same one, about a year ago when I did that second video. So I want to see how that compares today. I'm also doing this, Ron Brown, a friend of mine, he wants to see how this too, so I wanted to do this video for him today. So take it up and see. Now I will shoot some video, so if you want to look, if you watch my original review and then this one, maybe we can compare how does the gimbal act. There was issues with the gimbal early on when I got mine, very early on, with some tilt and snap back and things that they fixed since then. So we can compare those two. I will try to render this at 4K at 60. I'll be shooting this in 4K at 60 off the Autel, though my head cam will be at 1080p at 60, so the head cam footage will be upscaled, but the footage from the drone shouldn't be. So we'll compare the two, and then of course the return home accuracy is what I really kind of testing today. So I won't do any screen recordings or anything like that. I'm just going to take it up, fly it out, and we'll bring it back down. So before I take off here, I want to just go ahead and start recording some video here to make sure we've got some video recorded. So I'm going to go ahead and press, oh, that's the pictures. Oops, I accidentally switched over to the photos. And go ahead and start recording some video. We're doing that at 4K at 60. I'll probably take it up and adjust the EV a little bit so it has a better starting point on the video. So anyway, let's go ahead and we'll unlock the props. Let's go ahead and do an auto takeoff. Now of course the beeping you're hearing is it's seeing that log in front of us. I'm going to take it up a little higher so it can get a good, let's tap the EV here and try to lighten up the screen a little bit. That's probably a bit overexposed. The sky and the ground is going to make it a little bit difficult to get a really, really good EV balance between the two. So I'm kind of doing some adjustments now. I'm going to take this up even higher. Let's look straight down at the pad here, even though it's not using this camera, but we'll take it up just so that it can get a good idea, where it is there on the ground with the camera on the bottom, so we see we're still hovering above it. Very, very balanced, very stable now compared to early on. It wasn't this stable. So if I look down, guys, and I'm not getting the drone into view, it's not, I'm just looking at my controller, so I got to look where my head cam shows me. So let's bring it back up here and see. Like I said, I got my sunglasses on. It's gonna be I'm probably not gonna get the best camera settings is what I'm getting at, because I've got a lot of glare and I got my sunglasses on, so the video comparison may not be the best. So let's take it out here a little ways. I'm up about, let's take it up about 100 feet or so. We're at about 280 feet. Let's just kind of pan around here a little bit. Okay, so I'll try not to look at my controller so much, but when you're flying FPV, unless I do this, I'm going to be looking down. So I'll try to include some onboard footage here. But I'm going to just tap the screen and try to lighten this up a little bit there. And I don't know, with my sunglasses, I could end up overexposing some of this because I'm getting overexposure warnings, of course, for the sky, which is not uncommon. There's a lot that goes into flying one of these drones and getting the camera. The camera settings is a whole another level of expertise. It's one thing to fly these things, another one to actually not only get your settings right, but actually film this stuff, your cinematic filming. Now I can see the EVO right out here, so I'm still within line of sight. I am out about 690 feet now. I had it out the other day about 1,000 or so, but just going to tilt the camera down just a tad. Let's go ahead and just call it back home here from there, so we have some time to do this test a couple times. We've got plenty of battery, but go ahead and just do that. So let's go ahead and press the return to home, and it'll beep and let us know it's going to go ahead and do that. So it's going to fly back now. I can see it zipping right towards me. I also should mention that I did do a compass calibration before I did this. It's debatable how much that's going to make a difference. Obviously, if the compass is not calibrated correctly, your return to home is not going to work right at all. But it's so easy to do it. Why not go ahead and do it? But you don't need to do it every time you fly. But if you are going to move, and there it is overhead, I get the sun right where it is, so it's going to be extremely difficult to see this in my head cam. But I'm going to look down with the camera to see just about where it is as it comes down. But you should do it if you're going to move 100 kilometers or more, definitely, and the app should tell you, I think. But just make sure that you do. That'll assure that it flies back correctly, though. If it's off much of compass, the app should tell you. But if it is off and it doesn't, you'll probably get toilet bowling. I don't know if the optical flow can even overcome that. Let's see how this does. Looks like it may be off a little unless it corrects, but this is not going to be bad. Whoops, see, there it goes, it's correcting. Perfect. That's what you want to see. Oh yeah, perfect. Now we got the camera facing down. If you're going to land the EVO with this really low clearance, you know, on this helipad is fine, but if you're laying on uneven, if I was laying off on these rocks or something, having the camera straight down isn't a really good idea because you could actually bump that lens on something. I guess theoretically you could scratch it. That worked really well. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. Well, I don't know if we even need to test it again. I guess we'll do it one more time to make sure that wasn't a one-off fluke, because the other day I did this, I didn't hover. And that's the thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned a little more. I took it over, you know, I took it up and I went right and left and was kind of checking stuff. And then I called it back and it ended up, I had the helipad where it is now. It ended up way over here, which is just ridiculous. Even on GPS, it shouldn't be off that much. My toys aren't. I don't know what was up with that. Second time, it was about like my first test a year ago, a few feet. Third time, it did exactly what it did there. So if you're going to do this, you know, there's no reason not to have their turn to home precision accuracy turned on. I don't know why anybody would turn that off. Take it up at least 30 feet and hover it for just a moment. It doesn't require you to do much. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and start recording again. And let's go ahead and unlock the props. Let's go ahead and take it up again. And it's going to beep until we get a clearance above that log. Let's go ahead and just take it up. Just keep giving it throttle. Don't give it any pitch or roll. Get it up a ways. You know, that's up probably 30 feet. And just hover it there for just a moment. You know, if you have to look down, make sure that you're centered above it, which you should be. As we can see, we are right now. Go ahead and look back out into the horizon there. I think the EV is probably set pretty good. The sky is going to be, you know, a bit overexposed. Yeah, that should be enough. Let's go ahead and take it up a little higher. Let's go ahead and take it. I'm going to go ahead and take it back, fly it back towards my subdivision. Let's go ahead and get it up a little higher to be safe. That's my subdivision over there. So about 350 feet now. Let's just go ahead and fly it down there and make sure we keep it on the line of sight. And I can still very, very easily see it. And my eyes aren't that great. We'll take it out around 1,000 feet here and call it back. And that should wrap up this review. I can still see it. It's amazing it's not a very big drone. I can still very, very easily see that. Alright, we're out at 1,000 feet there, parked out right at the edge of the expansion of my subdivision. And let's go ahead and let's do a return to home again. And a beep, and there it goes, and it's going to come on back. If you don't need the film at the very end, you know, if you want to keep filming, I think, and you don't need that footage, aim the camera straight down so that you know as it comes back that you are above it, because sometimes your perception will be off. You're looking up at it, you think, man, it overflew the landing spot. It probably didn't. And when it comes down, you can see, because as you can see here, my car is parked very close to this. If for some reason it's way off, you can correct it manually. It's not locked on you, because that would be dangerous. Some drones I've seen do that. Here it comes. That way you can really tell, is it going to come down and do I need to correct it any? So let's go ahead and look straight down. Again, it's right overhead, and the sun is going to make it impossible, so we'll just include the onboard footage here, guys, until it gets close enough to get it in my hat cam. Yeah, I can't see it, but I can see in my phone screen, it says landing, of course, that it is coming down where you want it to be. And we'll just make sure it'll slow and hover a bit, so it gives you time in case you would need to make any changes. I can already tell it's going to be very, very close. Accurate landing, correction, landing location. I think it's telling me there in the app that it's correcting using the Precision Landing. Alright, it's getting really, really close. Look at that. That's really cool. I'm going to move my camera back up here so I'm safe. Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's what I know the DJIs do. That's what you expect. That's perfect. So, a few days ago, I didn't have this kind of luck. That was my fault. I took it up and I moved it. I didn't give it a chance. I didn't take it up very high. And I did do a compass calibration, which, again, may or may not help, but it doesn't hurt. My gosh, it takes 15 seconds. So you might as well do one. Like I said, when you're going to change locations. If you're flying from the same spot a few days apart or something, no, you don't need to do it again. Take it up, hover it. Get it up 30 feet or so, you know, 15 meters, whatever, you know, something like that. Depends on whether you're imperial metric, but, you know, 30 feet up, 10 meters, something like that. You know, DJI recommends 10 meters. Autel should be similar. Take it up, hover it for 10 seconds so it can really see the ground. Then you can fly it out and it's going to work perfect. All right, guys, that should wrap up this, you know, kind of quick 1 year comparison of the return to home and, of course, the video quality. Be sure to subscribe, guys, so you can catch any new videos. Click the bell so you know when I upload a new video. And as always, guys, have a great day.
The power of the dark side.